Hear who the analysts have as a frontrunner for MVP, rookie, and coach of the split later on in the countdown. Teams made their way to the stage just moments ago. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LCS Countdown, where for 30 minutes we pep talk the bottom and challenge a robot to some league stats until the timer reaches 0, and we jump into Champions Select. High's back with us today.
I'm back.
Just in time to defend his Echo Fox prediction, I'm sure, as Rush lost on Saturday.
No secrets given out yet, guys.
I'm not giving them out. It's just an assumption.
I don't know who I voted for, but
You don't know who?
It's a secret for now.
All right, fair enough. Time to shine a light on a player that concedes the need to carry just to say I'm helping. Brought to you by State Farm. In his win over CLG, Smoothie put on a monstrous performance that not only won the game, but led to Sven breaking the LCS record for gold differential at 15. Take a look.
The lane bully. Ooh, bottom side.
Oh,
it's first blood over to TSM.
See both junglers hanging out top.
Oh,
the map.
Smoothie again. Bottom side, it's Smoothie setting things up daily, nightly, and ever so rightly.
Got a very big problem on the bottom side. And it
Speaking of that problem on the bottom side, Sven's got his ulti. He's going in. He needs one more shot to do it, and the heal makes it happen.
Gonna roam up here, right through the brush. Bow Frost. Oh my God, that went right past the minion. That was crazy, actually.
I don't know if this is the right stat or not, but Reddit claims that it was also the fastest all outer turret platings have been taken in that game worldwide. So pretty huge game out of Smoothie, who chalked it up to just I can land hooks.
Those are some hard hooks to hit, though, to be fair.
I do know something factual. I was casting that game, and that is the hardest carry that I have seen all year for sure. Probably in the last, 3 years from a support player. That was actually insane.
3 years?
It's
from
always
a support player.
Yeah. He went
He
ham.
literally killed a 6A every time he came back to lane, then went mid, killed there, and they got all the turret plates on bottom plus turret plates on top.
Secured a very solid win for TSM, which moves them up into a tie for third. Let's pull up those standings and take a look. Team Liquid, Cloud9, FlyQuest, and TSM fall in line at the top, while the teams below them in the standings look to turn things around at the start of the second round robin. Now, yesterday, we had some back-and-forth matches, which reaped some delightful rewards for one analyst's LCS stock market portfolio, and that would be Kobe.
Oh,
12 shares of Clutch Gaming. Let's see what the overall value of that was.
Wow.
348 in stock market value.
One now, right?
How's it feel? How are you spending that cash, Kobe?
I'm actually feeling a bit worried. I want to invest my cash because having all 12 in one stock is very risky. If they lose the next 3 games,
That's what I was gonna ask. Would you pull it out now if you could?
If I could, yeah.
Okay, you cash out.
You gotta commit.
Plus, this
you
is
need to commit.
This one-day gains is bigger gains than any of us have made in any of the sessions.
That is
Very
true.
true. Very true. Who's their opponent today? Are they likely to win this
They're
game, you
playing
think?
Optic.
I think all of their games are
playing
winnable.
Optic.
Okay, all the games are winnable. So then, you can kill for it, Kobe. They are playing Optic. Good call
I
on
got
that one
3 in
high.
there as well.
Oh, let's take a look at what our schedule is for the day. Perfect timing. First up, it's Golden Guardians going up against Echo Fox. Optic versus Clutch Gaming. Shortly after, with FlyQuest facing TSM in Game 4. FlyQuest versus TSM. Now, that sounds familiar. I thought there was something I was supposed to do the next time FlyQuest played TSM. What was that? All right, let's go ahead and see which game we've got for today's weekly wager. Ooh, and it will be TSM versus FlyQuest. It's a ghost pepper hot sauce.
Where's Kobe? Where's Kobe? Where ain't Kobe now? Where's Kobe? Where's Kobe? He was here earlier today. Kobe.
Wait, that editing makes it look like I was here when you announced it and then I left? That's not true.
You were gone, Kobe. You
ran
missed
away.
out. You
You
missed
ran
out on
away.
the post game.
I was sick that day. I left way earlier before the results even came in.
Sick or not, Kobe, the bet was placed. The wager was placed, and
Fair
you
enough.
must pay up. So I have good news for all of you. That will take place in the 4th game of the day. Kobe will get his just due. When it comes to the hot sauce, it shall return. For Game 1, though, Coach Anero says that his desire to beat his old team outweighs any potential superstitions around Rush.
I am usually superstitious, but it's usually about my own pregame rituals, which are that's been carrying over since Echo Fox, and they're all kind of dumb. But no, I don't really care about their whole 0-2 thing. It'd just be nice to beat it. It's a big matchup for me and Henrik, especially. But every game overall for us right now is kind of the same, where we just want to make sure we get a win. We need the wins for playoffs really bad. So yeah, we're just going out doing our best, but it's just another game for us.
Now, Freak and Azael are bringing you Golden Guardians versus Echo Fox in not too long, so let's go ahead and find out what they're looking for in that game one.
Thank you very much, Das. Just to give you an update on Rush's chances, we've heard Inero talk about the curse where Rush never goes 0-2. Since last week, they've gone up to 1 in 131,072, assuming that each Sunday game is a coin flip following a loss on Saturday. So I'm fully believing that the Church of Rush is a real thing. I'm syndicating it. That's probably not the right word, but I don't know better words for that. So can the Golden Guardians, my question is, can they commit DSI?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out, but it's not that tall of a task, I think, for the Golden Guardians if you're looking at their performance over the last couple weeks. Because coming into this weekend, they were 3-1. In their last 4, their only loss had been to Team Liquid. They did fall down yesterday, but I was really looking at the bot lane there as the main source of that weakness. They did play Ornn plus Yasuo. They went MR runes into this Aurelia Alistar matchup that got absolutely slammed, and the rest of the map was doing okay. So this game felt more like kind of just an aberration where it didn't really go to plan for them in the bot lane. Things went bad, and everything fell apart around that. If this team returns to normalcy, plays this kind of late game scaling style with Froggen in the mid lane, plays this team fighting a comp around that, I definitely think that they can beat Echo Fox today. They have looked good.
Yeah, I think these players are definitely good enough to do so. Of course, it's going to be still a tough road. This was the first team they placed. They lost against in the first round robin, but maybe Golden Guardians can turn it around and start to move back up the standings. They're only 1 game away from playoffs after all. But now we're going to take a short break. When we return, we look at the MVP race, and Riv ranks the most important quality in a pro. You won't want to miss it.
What could that be?
Don't know.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. Since today marks the halfway point of the regular season, it's time to start the conversation of the End of Split Awards. If the split ended today, how would you three award MVP, Coach, and Rookie of the Split? Let's start with coaching here.
I think for me, the guy who jumps out the page is Invert. He's someone who I've actually kind of been following for a long time because he was the coach for the University of Toronto team that had a great run in the collegiate finals. And then they ended up a number of them, Airy, JJ, and No, plus him, all going to FlyQuest Academy. He was there for a long period of time, and I think he was a great candidate for it because he's taken over for that team.
Yeah, FlyQuest has been doing really well and super surprising, but they just got beat by Cloud9, and I would go with Reaper because still to this day, I like how he continues to push the team to play so many different champions, so many different styles. This is one of the teams that has a lot faster game time. They're also trying all these different compositions.
Right, and then my vote would go for Kane. You look at Team Liquid, and it's not surprising at the first, yes, but at the same time, if they didn't have a strong coach to make sure that they're first, they probably wouldn't be as dominant as they are right now anyway. So my vote's for him.
Seems natural that we'd be looking at the top 3 teams of the league in terms of having a strong leader and strong coaching staff to lead the charge. What about rookies, though? This is always, to me, a more interesting conversation just because it's typically with a lot less evidence.
Yeah, I don't know how interesting this one is, though, because it feels like it's Viper hands down and it's not very close.
I would throw my hat in the ring for Vulcan as well.
Would you actually vote for him, or is just an option?
I think I would still, right now, vote for Viper.
Okay.
But I think that Vulcan at least has a possibility of entering that conversation.
Right. You've got 9 more games to go, but at the current moment, talk to me a little bit about why Viper is the clear pick.
I think when you saw, we talked about Flame and then Viper, it looks like a downgrade. And then he comes in, he plays his first couple games on tanks, looks solid, that's great. And then suddenly he starts busting out that Riven that we were all kind of waiting for, and the wins kept rolling in. So it's like, okay, well, he is stepping up on a very good team in being a carry threat for them. What are the other rookies really doing? It's almost incomparable at this point for me.
Right, and even despite his loss yesterday on Aurelia, he looked really strong on Aurelia until some members on the team started, making interesting decisions, and then he followed along and died along with them. But he looked really strong on Aurelia as well.
Well, Viper, the front runner there. Next up is MVP, but before we talk about our MVP candidates, I want to take a look at the POG tracker because, as we know, Player of the Game awards do feed into that ultimate MVP title. Core JJ topping the list with 4 Poggers. And then, of course, Pobelter and Sven following up close behind at 3.
Yep, Core JJ, the Pog champ, and I feel like he's probably everyone's favorite for MVP right now.
He really has made such an impact since joining this league, and it does help that they added him to the dominant bottom laner that we've had in North America for so many years, Doublelift, but Core JJ still manages to stand out next to Doublelift, creating so many of the plays for the teams, even a lot of the game-ending plays where flanking later gets the big engage for Team Liquid and actually secures them victories.
I think the coolest thing about him is that he's a world-class player that has won Worlds, and he comes to NA and he shows that he's a world-class player, and we're all like, okay, I see why he won Worlds. I understand now, so I like that a lot.
And it is pretty crazy to think that on, Doublelift being the MVP of summer, on a team that is similarly leading the charge and winning the LCS handily so far in spring, is being essentially eclipsed by someone else on his own roster.
Right, but I still think Doublelift, his name is out there a little bit. He leads the league in a lot of categories. He has the most kills, the best KDA. He gets the most gold of anyone. He's on the best team, so clearly he's like their carry. He's the guy who's, getting the kills to win the game. It's just that he's constantly being spoon-fed by core JJ right now. But I think Doublelift's name is still out there.
All right, offside of TL, though, let's talk about somebody else in the league who's come up quite often. That's Licorice in the top lane for Cloud9. How do we feel about his MVP prospects?
I mean, it's not a big surprise to a lot of people. He won the Rookie of the Split in spring last year, and this spring he's got a whole year under his belt. He's shown with Worlds experience that he still is a top caliber top laner, and most of the top laners in the league, actually every single one that I've talked to, has ranked him as #1.
Right, and even himself has ranked himself as #1. So
Every single one.
come on. Who else can we vote for that?
I mean, in the top lane, right? It's funny. We were having a big conversation about this yesterday. Hooney saying Viper's #2 to Licorice, and it just kind of, as Licorice had a fantastic rookie season just last year, and was picked up that honors for himself. Do we think Viper's following in a similar? On a similar path? What did Licorice have that Viper doesn't, or what does Viper have that Licorice didn't in his rookie?
I would think that FlyQuest would be super happy if Viper is following in that path, because that's like a golden path
that's
there,
the world.
straight to the top. He definitely does have some more work to do. You mentioned it a little bit, Mark, but there's some plays where it does still look like Viper's following, just because, it kind of defers to the more senior members on the team, even if it might not be the best choice.
And I think when Licorice came onto C9, they put a lot of resources into him. He was always getting counterpicked. They were always ganking for him. And I feel like Viper hasn't had quite the same support because they've been playing a little bit more around Turtle and Pobelter.
Well, just a quick glance at what these guys are thinking when it comes to the Split Awards. Meanwhile, Riv explored something deeper, deep in the roots of the LCS players that make them stand out. Riv, talk to me.
Thank you very much, Dash. Coming into this weekend, I noticed something. More beards in the LCS. What does it mean? I had to dig deeper. Take Zeyzal, for example. By far, the greatest beard in the LCS. Already 2 Player of the Game accolades and touts top stats in multiple categories for support. You don't just get #1 KDA without face foliage like this. You have to be cutthroat. Don't believe me? Check this out. Do you even know who this guy is? The stats are real, but is the picture. What about this guy? And those stats. Not the beard, the stats, but also the beard. This is known as the sophisticated lumberjack. Is this growing on you yet? The current list is small, but the beards filling it are monumental. This segment also comes with the prediction that Viper will start to fall off soon, since he has recently shaved his beard. The only other thing you need to know that is if you aren't on the beard tier list, you're on the beard tier list. We're gonna be stepping away now, but when we return, Dash and friends do battle with a robot, and Kobe has a pep talk for the teams at the bottom of the standings.
Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, where Game 1 is about 11 minutes away. With some moderate success, we've decided to welcome back our new robotic friend for this week's iteration of J.A.T.'s Stats. Wasn't the most pleasant of games last time around. I did. And that is an improvement from last year.
Hello, Dash. Hi, Mark, and Kobe. I am the Judgmental Automated Telemetry Testing Unit. I have returned for another iteration of the wildly successful J.A.T. Stats.
All right, well, welcome back.
Yeah, wildly.
Yeah. Wildly successful.
I like them.
Hit us with question 1.
I have elected to start with a multiple choice question for question 1. Let's hope that is enough. Yesterday Sven set the LCS all-time record for individual GD at 15 against CLG. Who was the previous holder of the record?
This is unfair.
Your options
multiple
are
choice.
Wild Turtle, Xiao Wei Xiao, Huni, Deftly.
Oh, man.
Huni has destroyed
I
some
thought I
people.
You thought it was gonna be Bjergsen, right?
Yeah.
But that stat was fake. That was a broken game, actually. It was a chrono broken game that screwed with the stats.
So I'm
It's either Huni or Turtle for me. I think I'm gonna go Huni.
Really tough.
but
Xiao Wei
why would definitely be on the list if
I like the
I think it's
Xiao
a
Wei
bait.
Xiao
I think
call.
it's a bait.
I like the Xiao Wei Xiao call.
I think definitely is a bait. I want to go
he had
Xiao
a
Wei
crazy
Xiao.
Kaisa game last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and he had a couple Heimer games, or maybe he
Whoa,
got
he had the
far
fun
ahead.
one.
Submit your answers.
Let's all take one. Let's all take
I'm
one.
taking Huni.
I'll take definitely.
I got Xiao Wei Xiao.
What? So I get Turtle?
You got Turtle.
All right, I guess I take
Turtle's
Turtle.
good.
All right.
The correct answer is Xiao Wei Xiao.
I knew it! Why did I jump on this?
I made James get it wrong.
You can't listen to that.
Rude. I knew.
They destroyed some
Yes.
games in the LCS.
Yeah,
I have
they
experienced
had
that.
some of the most
firsthand.
lopsided games you could ever imagine in LCS.
Firsthand, I have gotten beaten up.
Pride is permitted, but not encouraged. Prepare yourselves, question 2 is coming now. Yesterday, Wild Turtle was able to secure a Baron with a Yasuo auto attack. What jungler has the most Barons stolen against them so far this split?
Lyra!
Or Rush.
I was gonna say
Rush.
Rush to
Rush.
I'm gonna stay with Lyra.
He's also lost dragons too. So
Actually,
that's why I might. I feel like there are more dragons stolen from Rush. I think he's only had 1 or 2 Barons stolen, and Lyra's had a couple Barons. I'm gonna go with Rush though, because I just feel like there's a reason we were more memeing about Rush's inability to smite.
I
And
might
he was
be
even
living in the
memeing
past.
himself.
That one's too obvious. Rush is too obvious, right?
Was Lyra, am I thinking of a split before?
Lyra,
was it this split?
Lyra has struggled with
Last
smites in
split
the
he had a
past.
lot sold.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this
Yeah,
split.
not this split. They haven't gotten to do many Barons.
But Rush is also the obvious, right? Like that's the one that jumps into our head first. And as we know, typical J.A.T.T stats situation.
That is
who
wrong.
else has even
How
done-
terrible and expected. The correct answer is Acadian at 2 Baron steals.
Only 2.
He's had 2 stolen away?
He came into my head. I was
Two's not even that many.
I kept doing Baron.
At least probably like 8
How many?
people at
So
once.
Rush has only had 1 then.
Everyone's-
And then like multiple dragons stolen or
Right.
something from.
Yeah, that was a weak stat.
That was a weak stat. Give us something.
You can get better
Something
robot.
juicier.
Question 3. Come on.
I have decided it's time for question 3.
Oh, you decided.
Coming into the split, Sneaky was the player that had the highest LCS stock value. What player currently has the highest LCS stock value? Deliberate now.
All right, so it is.
So okay.
Coordinate
So
it.
actually, so here's. Well, before we deliberate this question, I'm going to
I'm gonna
clarify
say
something to
Sneaky.
people. So as you know, the LCS stock system, the teams have ELOs or stock prices, but that is determined by every individual player on that team having an ELO that is, essentially aggregated. So if you are subbed out in a game and your team loses or wins, your ELO will not change, and that is why individuals can have differing ELOs on different teams.
The highest rated teams are the top 2 teams, TL
right.
and Cloud9.
It's gotta be
I'm
a
gonna stay with Sneaky.
Wait,
gotta be
You
one.
think it's still Sneaky?
I'm gonna go Jensen because I think that they would have been to a similar point, and then Jensen has won more recently than Sneaky has.
True.
So I'm
True.
gonna go with
but Sneaky avoided multiple
because
losses
he didn't play
in
as much
summer.
in summer. But
So he may have had enough cushion already ahead of.
I'm still going
with Jensen.
Still going
My
Jensen.
vote's on Core JJ, because if they count previous games, he was on Dignitas, right? And he got destroyed, and since joining Team Liquid, he's only won.
True, but
Right,
he
but he
started
You
at
gotta
base.
start high.
He started at base ELOs.
started at
You need
100.
someone who started high and was on the winning team. And so I think the only person who could take it from Sneaky is quite
Jensen.
obviously someone on TL because they've had a better
Yeah.
record than
Jensen
Tyson.
or double lift.
Double lift potentially.
Yeah.
Double lift is a possibility.
I'm sticking with my vote.
I'm gonna go double lift.
Thank you for paying attention, Kobe. It permits me to believe your kind will survive. Sneaky remains the highest
Fair
ELO
enough.
player.
Fair enough.
151.
It was the bait. It was the bait
The
and switch.
answer's in the question.
Yeah, the answers in the question. Just restate the question in answer form.
That does
and
it for this iteration of J.A.T.T stats. I believe this was another wild success and am encouraged by my ability to entertain humans even for a short amount of time.
You say it
may
enough
continue
time.
talking about things far less important. Goodbye.
Say it enough times doesn't
Goodbye.
make it true. Doesn't make it true.
Thank you for that.
I like that. I got one right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
guys
one
don't
was
understand.
worse than the first time.
I'm
right?
mad because I got James to get one wrong by taking the Xiao Zhao answer away from him.
That's so rude, man. That's so rude. I was there. I got to trust my gut more often. Let's pull up the analyst predictions for today's games, see what you guys are looking at. Ooh, first 2 games look interesting to me. Mark Z with the Golden Guardians call over
I actually don't think
Rush.
they're going to win, but I have decided to always bet against Rush. Just so the one time he loses on Sunday, I can be there with my hand up. I called it.
Then don't say that you don't believe they can win right before the game is played.
Gotta
That takes
believe.
away.
I'm couching it. I'm
Fair
absolutely
enough.
There's a
couching it.
fallacy for this when you invest too much time into something and then you're committed to
Sunk
it.
cost fallacy.
Yeah,
Game
this
2,
is what's happening right now.
the most
Absolutely.
split game here. Across the board, we got 2 votes for Clutch and 2 votes for Optic. Let's talk this one out for a quick second.
I think that's probably the closest match of the day.
Right, they're both 3-6, right?
Right, and they both are coming off wins yesterday. But I think for me, Optic having a little bit more control in the mid to late game this time around. It sounds like Big was having a larger voice. We still know that they're good in early games, so I think that they have figured out some of their late game problems, and I don't think that they're going to lose the early game quite like they lost yesterday.
They are subbing in Dardoch though, right? And I felt like
True.
Medios was doing quite well.
Dardoch was good too, though, before.
It's been a while.
It's been a
It
while.
has been a bit
But he's
since we've
played in
seen
LCS
him.
before, so he knows.
Yeah.
But his record in the beginning of the split speaks for himself. Sorry to cut you off.
Right, no, that's fine. I believe in Clutch personally. I'm feeling their power. I think the Monte's gonna pop off today. I'm voting for him. Just anything to vote away from Mark. Not that I knew what Mark was voting for, but when I don't have his guess, I feel good about my guess.
You feel much better about yourself.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. Yesterday, Clutch was one of the games that had very interesting drafts pop up. How do you feel Optic can maybe stack up against a Clutch that's willing to draft so many flex picks to secure good lane matchups?
I feel like Crown is pretty well equipped in the mid lane. He's shown a lot of versatility and he's ready to step out there. But I think that's a good point. The backs up high and my predictions here.
Look,
as far as what they're gonna do.
They played weird stuff in other lanes before.
Anything that buries Mark and bolsters.
You're gonna bring up the York? People always just bring up
the York. Biggs played stuff.
All right, well, if you find yourself in the clump in last place, the halfway point of the split can seem very dire, but also could be a moment for rebirth. So Coach Kobe is going to share a few words to fire up their spirits. Head out there, Coach Kobe.
Come with me. Everybody group up. Get in the huddle here. All right. I know you're feeling down. It is halfway through the split, and you're in hell. You can stay down there in the standings, or you can climb out, because great moments are built on great opportunities. League is a game of inches. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. It's really simple. You've got 9 more games in the regular split. That's it. They think they know your laning. They think they know your draft, your flaws. But they don't know your heart. And if you can take your heart and leave it all out on the rift, you might get a win. And if you get a win, after that, you get 1 more win. Now you've got 2 wins. Well, if you get 1 more win, then you've got a win streak. And it's been done before. If you can start a win streak, then you can prove that even though you're hard stuck, you're somebody. Yeah! Let's go! All right! Wax on, wax off, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Let's get in the game! Let's go!
Wow. I feel energized. Azael, how do you feel after that monumental speech?
Feel like we got to queue up. Let's get out there.
I've lost every game I've done with a Rider so far this split.
Yeah, I don't want to queue with you.
Yeah.
I was just talking we could individually.
You said let's queue up.
Yeah,
that
but see,
implies...
at the same time, but maybe different games.
I mean, maybe the same game.
I've watched your stream.
Yeah, my elo's not near yours right now. It's okay. We actually couldn't even do. I'm pretty sure you're in diamond, I'm in gold. So that's unlucky. And I'm going to get flamed for being in gold right now. Either way, we are into the game very soon. Golden Guardians and Echo Fox getting ready to go for this one. And it is 2 teams in pretty much the same spot in the standings. Of course, Echo Fox are sitting 4 and 5, just 1 game above GGS. But certainly, I think these are teams very close together. And neither one can win, absolutely.
Yeah, certainly the case. Echo Fox, as you talked about in the check-in earlier, have won every game on Sunday. You know, so far this season. Rush, anytime he loses the first game on Saturday, he has always won the second game in his pro career. So it's a pretty insane stat. And
yeah,
I am excited to see how this one does go because as much as that is kind of out there, where he's just never losing on Sunday, coming into this matchup, I still would have thought the Golden Guardians has a very good chance.
And I agree. I feel like they have actually settled into things. It's something you talked about where their only lost, not counting yesterday, was to Liquid in the last 4 or 5 matches. So like they were on the way back up. And we're seeing smiles, right? Froggen's happy. We know his champion pool is a little bit particular to him, but